Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT Network. This is a show that is everything Broncos and brought to you with emotion, passion, honesty, and my comments along with your comments in the chat. I am your host, Bronco Bill. All right, guys, thanks each and every week for joining me on a Friday. I know you guys are heading right into your weekend as you always do. And I said this last Friday, but I want to reiterate it. I wish each and every one of you, I hope you guys all had a very, very happy Valentine's Day and that your sweetheart, whomever he or she may be, was equally had a wonderful time. So really, really do hope that each and every one of you excuse me. Wow, where'd that come from? Had a very happy Valentine's Day. This coming Monday is President's Day, so some of you may have that day off. So if you do, enjoy your super long weekend. And once again, guys, thanks so much for being here to watch the show as well as being in the chat. Really do appreciate it. Batting leadoff is Graham Tide. I never want to mess up your name, so I'm just going to say Tide. Graham Tide is batting leadoff. He's in the chat. He just does a prayers thing. Absolutely, we'll appreciate that and welcome that. Thank you so much. D-Rock is batting second. D-Rock's in the house. He says big. I'm thinking he meant Big Bill, but it's okay. Yeah, he did say that second time. It's okay, man. Hey, Big. Maybe that's my nickname. Okay. All right, I appreciate that, Graham. Graham says just Graham is fine. All right, I appreciate it. I just don't really like messing up people's names. It really just makes me feel bad. So that's why I apologize ahead of time when that happens. Hope each and every one of you had a good week. Looking forward for the some of you hopefully for a long weekend. And let's just jump right into the show. Obviously, Super Bowl was this past Sunday. Didn't turn out the way Bronco fans wanted it to. Not that the Broncos were in it, because we weren't. But we wanted the 49ers because, first off, we don't like the Chiefs. They're in our division. And second of all, there was a lot of Bronco former connections, not necessarily players, but connections to the Denver Broncos by way of the 49ers. There was obviously John Lynch, who played for the Broncos. He's the GM of the 49ers. And then you had Kyle Shanahan, the head coach of the 49ers. His dad was Mike Shanahan, went back-to-back with the Broncos in 97, 98. And then you had Brian Greasy, the quarterback's coach. A lot of connections. Ed McCaffrey, the running back, wasn't on the Broncos, but his dad sure was. Ed McCaffrey was instrumental in the Broncos win against the Packers in Super Bowl 32. So a lot of Bronco connections, and I'm going to get into something that is very ironic. It's going to be in the show. It's going to be in the show. So it's just very ironic. Okay, let me get back to chat. Chat's blowing up pretty big. Let's see. D-Rock is in the house. Obviously, he was batting second. He's back up with a comment says Russ and Sierra's house is on the mark. What? Are you serious, D-Rock? I did not hear that, because I have something. If you look at my name, look at my name down in the chat, or not in the chat, but on the screen. Look at the name. Underneath it says Broncos are open to keeping Russell Wilson. And then I went, interesting. And now you're telling me, D-Rock, that Russell Wilson and Sierra's house is on the market? Whoo, dude, did you just scoop me or what? Did this whole show just go in a different direction? Because that to me, I have not heard anything like. Where'd you find that? By the way, that's wow. That's a shocker. Because like I said, I haven't heard it, and going by what I've been reading all along is that the Broncos are open to keeping Russell Wilson at least for the 2024 season. And now you're throwing a wrench into that, D-Rock? Wow. Okay. All right. Wow. Even Graham says, yup, it's on the market. Oh, missed that one. Even Graham says, yup, it's on the market. Wow. I'm just shocked. I'm shocked. And that just puts a whole new different twist on this show regarding that. But I still have to bring it because that's what I've heard. I haven't heard anything you guys have said. And I've done a lot of digging, but I have not heard that side of it. So I'm not saying you guys are not telling the truth because, you know, that's what I expect everybody in the chat to do. You know, if I'm going to bring you guys the truth, I'd like the same reciprocation back. And I know that's what you guys do. So I just have not heard that. Wow. That is, that's a shock to me. All right. Now, talking about Super Bowl. And before we do that, I see a thumbs up indicated. Guys, please hit the thumbs up. It does wonders for the show. It makes people that do see a lot of thumbs up, that there's people that do like the show, and I really do appreciate it. All right. I'm not gonna, you know, chime in on that a lot. You guys know the drill. You guys know the details. So anyways, all right. Now, Super Bowl recap, because we all know the Super Bowl was last Sunday. Like I said, did not end the way we wanted it to, but I have an insight that I saw that I kind of see it both ways. So let me just get into that. Come on, hang on, man. Muhammad, hey, wait a minute. Muhammad's batting cleanup. Muhammad says, good evening, Bill. I say, good evening, Muhammad. Nice to see you, as always. Kamani says, Bill. I say, hey, what's up, Kamani? Nice to have you in the chat. You're batting fifth. Love it, man. I'm getting a batting order going here. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. All right. Super Bowl. Super Bowl 58 should have been the 49ers game to win. Should have been. However, Kyle Shanahan, quote, didn't realize of the overtime rules in this year's playoff and Super Bowl. Now that kind of bothers me, and I'll tell you why. Even the referee said these rules are different in the playoffs and Super Bowl. Different, meaning, and I remember I went back and watched the beginning of that overtime, and the referee clearly said each team will be able to possess the ball unless, now normally they would say unless a touchdown is scored on the opening possession. Okay, that was rules before. Now what he said was both teams will be able to possess the ball unless a safety is recorded in the first possession. Okay, that's the only way. Well, why was Kyle Shanahan so confused with that? I sat back and go, okay, well, that's great. That means that if the team with the ball first gets a touchdown, that means the team that gets the ball second, whomever it may be, has a chance to go down and get a touchdown and tie it and continue playing until somebody else scores. It's not like college. Well, I think college plays the entire quarter. I'm not sure. I don't know about that. But I do know that the rules here in this past Super Bowl 58, I was stunned and shocked that the 49ers didn't fully understand it, because I'm not in the NFL by any stretch of the imagination. But I understood it. I understood to say, okay, if the 49ers get the ball first, or the Chiefs or whatever, and they go down and score a touchdown, then the other team, whether it's the 49ers or Chiefs, gets the ball to go down the field and tie it up. Somehow, some way, Shanahan got confused because he took the ball to open up the overtime. Now, I'm not 100% against that, and I'll tell you why. Sure, the 49ers had a chance to score a touchdown, and they didn't. They settled for a field goal. But all their defense had to do was force the Chiefs to get a field goal or nothing. Same way as if you have 7 points. Who's trying to get out? Hang on a second, guys. Somebody's trying to get at my door. Oh, I'm sorry. It's my wife. She got something. I heard the door and it kind of confused me. I'm sorry about that, guys. Lost my train of thought for a second, but I'll get it right back. So the thing is with me, thinking is, okay, you take the ball first. Your objective is to go all the way down and score a touchdown. I understand that. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it didn't. They got a field goal. All they had to do, like I said, was just stop the Chiefs. But they didn't. They couldn't. Now, I've had people contact me all this past week saying, Bronco Bill, no. You want to take the ball because you want to set the bar, whether a field goal or a touchdown. Okay. And I said that's what I wanted. Take the ball, set the bar. I had people telling me, no. You want to let them have the ball first because then you know what you have to do. Well, isn't that more pressure? Isn't that more pressure? Let's say the Chiefs got the ball first and they go right down the field and get a touchdown. And now they're fired up, and what they know is they have to stop the 49ers on 4 downs. And people say, okay, if you get the ball first, you only have 3 downs because you're not going to go for it on 4th down on, let's say, the 40-yard line and not get it, 40-yard line of the other team, and not get it. And then they go down and get a field goal, win it. Okay, I understand that. I get that. But I don't know. To me, it's I don't know. To me, it's hard, in my opinion, to decide which side of the fence you want to go on. If your defense is more dominant all throughout the game, then yeah, I say you kick the ball and force them to go down and get a touchdown to force that team to go down and reciprocate and get a touchdown. Okay, I get that. We'll go back to Tim Tebow against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Broncos took the ball. And back then, if the opening possession resulted in a touchdown, game was over. Okay? So Denver took the ball hoping to get a touchdown. And they did on the very first play from Tim Tebow to the late Demaryius Thomas. And the Broncos won the game. Absolutely. That was different. But in a way, was it really different? Because had the Broncos not scored any points whatsoever, then Pittsburgh go down, gets a field goal, game over. So I don't know what side of the fence. I'm not saying that Kyle Shanahan, I almost put him as my jackass of the week for making that play, making that call, but I can't justify either side. Either side makes sense. I mean, think about it, guys. If the 49ers would have gone down there and got a touchdown, sure, Chiefs would have had to get a touchdown, which they did, but then they would have kept on going. So I don't know what side of the fence I lean on. But either way, that was heartbreaking. And here's the reason why it was really heartbreaking. Because it involved John Elway. This is why it was even more salt in the wound. And here we go. After the Kansas City Chiefs won Super Bowl 58, John Elway carried the Vince Lombardi trophy to the winning team. Was it the 49ers? No, we already went through that. It wasn't the 49ers. Not only was it painful to see Elway on the stage and smiling and seemingly enjoying the moment. Well, I mean, he's in front of the camera. He's not going to sit there and go, oh, I hate this. Yeah, I would have, because I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have given it to him. Anyways, enjoying the moment with a rival foe. Elway stated afterwards that he was in hopes of handing the trophy to the 49ers, who have a lot of Denver Bronco connections. I already mentioned that. John Lynch, Ed McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey was obviously around the Broncos and whatnot. And then you had Kyle Shanahan with Mike Shanahan, back-to-back Super Bowl champion. So there are a lot of connections associated. Was that a 50-50 gamble that Elway, when asked if he'd like to bring the trophy up to the stage and hand it to the winning team, did he really 100% firmly believe the 49ers were going to win this game? With Brock Purdy? With Kyle Shanahan, who's already lost it before? I don't know. I don't know what went through his mind. But man, to see him walking up holding that trophy and the Chief players all leaning over and putting their hand on the trophy and Elway smiling and everything. I mean, I know, what is he supposed to do? I mean, what is he supposed to do? You know, act all dejected and whatnot. I mean, you got to be professional. probably inside he was a little, hurt or whatever. Absolutely. I don't know, man. That was a tough scene to watch. Very, very tough scene to watch. But I mean, what can I say? I'm dumbfounded. Okay. This even stings a little bit more. Okay. First, we had the Chiefs winning the game, which I didn't like. And then you had John Elway bringing the trophy to the Chiefs on stage. Now we have a former Denver Bronco who gets a Super Bowl ring because he was on the Chiefs. He didn't play. He didn't play in the Super Bowl, but he's on the Chiefs roster. He gets a ring. Here it is. Former Denver Broncos wide receiver Montrell Washington, who was signed to the Kansas City Chiefs practice squad, will receive a Super Bowl 58 championship ring, even though he wasn't active for the game. Tell me that doesn't sting a little bit harder. Of course it does. That stings a lot. Why? Because we had Montrell Washington. We had him as our punt returner, or kickoff returner. We had him as a wide receiver at times. He goes to the Kansas City Chiefs. Who else went to the Kansas City Chiefs last year? Oh, our running back. God, I can't remember his name. Came from the Chargers. God, I can't remember his name. All right, guys in the chat, help me out. Who went to the Chiefs last year? That was a Broncos running back that fumbled all the time. Golly, I can't think of his name. Came from the Chargers. Anyways, he got a Super Bowl ring last year when the Chiefs won it. So, I mean, oh yeah, there you go. Kamani's always come up with the right answer. Kamani, and I got to get to it too. Kamani says Melvin Gordon. That's right. Bob Gaynor, welcome to the chat, Bob. Glad to have you in the chat. Thank you so much. He says Melvin. You're right. Both guys are accurate. Melvin Gordon. I don't know why I couldn't. You know why I couldn't remember his name? Because that's how irrelevant he was. Except for fumbling all the time, which was relevant and unfortunate, obviously. D-Rock says, shout out to DT, referring to Demaryius Thomas and that catch that I mentioned in overtime from Tim Tebow against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, shout out to DT, man. Miss him. Gone way, 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 way too early. Kamani says, wow, lucky him, meaning Montrell Washington, lucky him, and that he got a ring. It just, hey, you just never know. You get traded and you're like, oh, man, I want to stay on that team. I really like the players. I like the organization. I like the camaraderie. I like the coach, whatever. And then they go to a team. They're not even playing. Maybe they're kind of bummed they're not playing. They want to be in the game. And all of a sudden, bam, team wins the Super Bowl. And you're like, well, dang, I got me a ring. Didn't even have to play. I mean, I don't know what goes to their head. They probably obviously want to play. But, hey, man, when you can get a Super Bowl ring, hey, it doesn't matter how you get it, my friend. Doesn't matter how you get it. It's some people, some players win it in the rookie year. Some players win it in the very last year, like John Elway almost next to last year. And then some people never win at all that should, like Dan Marino. I mean, there's some greats out there. Jim Kelly, the entire Buffalo Bill team for those 4 straight years, and the coaching staff. Just unfortunate times. Unfortunate times. Kamai Dixon says, Bill, you really hated Gordon. I didn't hate Gordon. It was just he seemed to fumble at the most inopportune times. Now, I'm not saying it's a good time to fumble. Don't get me wrong. It's never a good time to fumble. But in opportune times when you're getting ready to score and it's a close game and you need this drive and you need the momentum and all that, it just seems like Gordon just went blue and just coughed up the ball. And it was very unfortunate. And, I wished him all the best. I was glad he got a ring of just had the Chiefs logo on there instead of a Bronco one. But hey, good for him. Good for them. I mean, things like that happen. If you go back and you look at Smith, what's his name? Number 90. Neil Smith. Neil Smith came to the Broncos. He was on the Kansas City Chiefs back then. And he came to the Denver Broncos because he wanted to win a Super Bowl. And he felt that going to the Broncos was the best way to win a Super Bowl. And he was on Super Bowl 32 and 33, got back-to-back rings. He left Kansas City and came over to Denver. And I imagine the Kansas City Chiefs fans back then were disappointed because Neil Smith was very instrumental in that Chiefs defense. But he wanted a ring, and the Chiefs weren't the Chiefs that they are today. And the Broncos were the Broncos of what the Chiefs are today. And so Neil Smith, said, hey, I see the writing on the wall. I may never have a chance. So he came over and he won a Super Bowl back to back. And things like that happen, and I'm happy for guys that do find their way to win a Super Bowl, to be on a team, a championship team. But I also feel sorry for the guys like the Buffalo Bills who went 4 straight and didn't win a single one. That's painful. That's very, very painful. All right. Mohammed Badri is in the house. Mohammed says, man, Gordon was terrible. Yeah, he was terrible. And maybe that's why the Chargers got rid of him too, because they thought, man, we don't want to keep this guy. Kamani Dixon, I love it, my friend. I love it. Kamani says, sign me to the practice squad. I would love a ring. I would too, man. I would. Well, I got an imitation one. I got a fake one, but man, I'd sure like those those diamonds and those rings are just spectacular, man. I've seen pictures, and like I said, I got a replica one, a dummy one, but I have all 3 Bronco replica. I have the 2022 Avalanche one, and I have the Chicago Cubs 2016, my favorite baseball team, 2016 World Series. So it's nice. But yeah, a real one would be even better, Kamani. I totally agree. Wow. D-Rock says Kansas City's George Karlaftis has played 2 seasons for the Chiefs and has 2 rings. Well, there you go, man. Right place at the right time. What can you say, right? What can you say? I mean, it just seems sometimes Lady Luck just falls on a lot more people than other people. Some people just have all the luck, man. That's all the luck. Let's see. Bob Gator, again, welcome to the chat. Bob Gator says, oh yeah, why did John Elway give trophy to the Chiefs? Okay, I'm gonna explain this because I've had some other people ask me. It's not in the chat, but prior to the show. So the question is, why did John Elway give the trophy to the Chiefs? Okay. John Elway was asked prior to the Super Bowl if he would be willing to hand the Super Bowl trophy to the Super Bowl winning team. He said, yes, I would love to. His whole thought was he really felt that the 49ers would have the upper hand. They were favored. They weren't favored by a lot, guys, in the Super Bowl, but they were favored by 2.5. And he really felt that the 49ers would beat the Chiefs, and therefore he would be handing the trophy to his good friend and former teammate, John Lynch, of the Denver Broncos. Now, wait a minute. No, John Lynch came after Elway played. But in any case, John Lynch played for the Denver Broncos. So he was hoping that the 49ers would win. He would hand the trophy to John Lynch, and then he would see, Kyle Shanahan, maybe Mike Shanahan, Christian McCaffrey, maybe Ed McCaffrey on the stage, along with Brian Greasy, and it would be like a Broncos reunion. Well, guess what? It didn't work out that way, did it? Nope. So all of Broncos country was going like, "Oh God, really, John? Don't do it, John. Don't do it." Nope. He went through it and he did it because he was asked to do it, and he obliged. It's a 50-50 crapshoot, John. The 49ers hadn't won a Super Bowl since I don't know when. Maybe it's when they beat the Chargers in '84. Or was it after that? I don't recall. But anyways, it's been a long time since the 49ers won a Super Bowl. And the Chiefs won it last year. So I don't know if I'd have take that obligation. But anyways, he did. So that's the reason, Bob Gaynor, that's the reason why John Elway was handing the Super Bowl trophy to his rival, the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, it stung. It stung quite a bit. All right, Kamani says, look at Von Miller. He gets traded. He got another ring. It seems like you come to Denver and get traded or cut and you get a ring. Whoa, Kamani. That's some strong words, my friend. That's some strong words. Yeah, I can't disagree. Look at Shannon Sharp. When the Broncos let go of Shannon Sharp after winning Super Bowl 33, what was it, 32? No, 33. He goes to Baltimore and wins the Super Bowl ring with the Baltimore Ravens. There you go. Yeah, I don't know, Kamani. I don't want to think and believe what you're saying, but kind of sounds true. Von Miller, Shannon Sharp, Montrell Washington, Melvin Gordon. List goes on. Or you could flip it. And say that Neil Smith came to Denver. Well, he didn't win a ring in Kansas City, but he comes to Denver, gets a ring. You got Peyton Manning, won a ring in Indy, comes to Denver, wins a ring. I mean, I get what you're saying. It just seems like an awful lot of Bronco players have left and got rings with other teams, which kind of stings big time, especially since Denver's on a 0-for-6 or 0-for-7 now. 0-for-7 after Super Bowl 50. Or is it 58 now? It's 58, right? 51, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Well, I can count, Bill. What am I using my finger for, you big dummy? 50 and 8 is 58. Anyways. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it stings. Stings quite a bit. No doubt about it. Wow, Kamani, you guys are bringing a lot of scoops on me, man. Now Kamani says the 49ers fired the defensive coach. Really? Okay. Didn't hear that one either. Man, you guys are bringing the goods, man. You guys are doing great out there. Love it. Let's see. Okay, Kamani says the 85 49ers beat the Dolphins. Okay, so that's their last Super Bowl win. Wow, that's almost 30 years. 85, 95, 2005, 2015. Yeah, it's almost 40. 85, 95, 2005, 2015. Yeah, almost 40 years. Holy smokes. I don't feel so bad now. I'm not only going 8. I don't feel so bad. Wow. And the Raiders have gone even further. Raiders are back in 81, I think. So that's 43 years. Wow. Okay, I don't really feel so bad. I feel bad because we're not in the playoffs like forever, but I don't feel all that bad. We're not coming up on 40, that's for sure. Okay, D-Rock has a good point here. D-Rock says, it saddens me, but who's our bridge quarterback for next season? I'm rooting for Gardner Minshew. You and Madungus Creevy. I don't understand why Gardner Minshew. I don't know. He just doesn't seem like, he may be middle of the road, but he doesn't seem like he would be the type of quarterback to take a team to the Super Bowl. I just don't see that. I'm sorry. Maybe it's just me. But I really don't see that. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, D-Rock, I mean, you got a good point. And anybody right now, whoever can work with Sean Payton, or I should say whoever Sean Payton can work with as his quarterback, I'm all for it. I'm all for it because, hey, nothing's worked the last 6 years. Definitely didn't work under Hackett. And we've had some other issues down the road long after Peyton Manning was gone. I mean, we've had some horrific situations. So, I mean, if it's Gardner Minshew, if it's, somebody else, even if it's Russell Wilson, and I'll get into that, even though I know you guys said that his house is up for sale. Okay, I'm just going to bring you the news and information and the topics that I got leading up to today. Now, anything that happens during the show, I don't have control of that because it's happening and I'm already doing the show. I already got my topics. So Guys, bear with me if you're like, no, that's old news. Okay. Well, it's not old to me because I got it this past week. All right. Let's see. Kamani says, I think Russell's going to redo his contract and he will be back as starting quarterback. Kamani says that's just his opinion. Okay. All right. I'm going to get into that in just a moment. It's a couple of topics down the show here, but we will definitely get into that. I do want to get into a sad note, guys. I'm not going to get into the investigation side because that's not what the show's about. The show's about sports and things of that nature. But when there is a situation that is tragic, that is senseless and all that, I'm going to bring it in if it's sports related, especially football related. Here we go, guys. Okay. I'm going to bring this in and I'm only going to talk primarily about the football side. Here we go. A day that is supposed to be a joyous singing and celebration turned ugly as shots were fired during the Kansas City Chiefs celebration of Super Bowl 58 championship parade in Kansas City yesterday. Here it is. 22 people were injured. One unfortunate female was killed. Out of this tragedy comes some support for the family of the one killed. I know you guys don't really like Taylor Swift, and I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. And as she's known, and I hear this from my grandson and nieces and whatnot, it's called Swiftie. If you're a Swiftie, it means you're a big fan of Taylor Swift. Okay. I never heard that before. I just heard it recently. Okay. A lot of people don't like seeing Taylor Swift in the skyboxes or the luxury suites or whatever. Okay. I don't care about that. That's not what I'm talking about when it comes to this. Okay. Whether you like Taylor Swift or you don't, this was a very genuine humanitarian thing that Taylor Swift did. Now she's in Australia doing her concert, but this is what she did today. Taylor Swift has donated $100,000 to the family of Lisa Lopez Galvin, the female that was gunned down in this very tragic incident yesterday at the Kansas City Chiefs parade. Another $100,000 has come in from various people to match Taylor Swift's donation. Now, a lot of people say, well, $100,000, she's worth millions. Why only $100,000? You know what, guys? $100,000 to me is a ton of money. And I know it might not be a lot to her, but at least it came from her. My question is, where are the Kansas City Chiefs ownership? Why aren't they not putting up money? Why is not Travis Kelce putting up money? Okay. Taylor Swift's not even connected directly with the Kansas City Chiefs, but she put up $100,000 of her own money. Where are the Chiefs ownership? Where are the Chiefs collective team? Where are they? Not mentioned that article. Now, I'm not saying that they haven't. I'm just saying in that particular article wasn't mentioned if it was, if there has been any donation. And I'm not advocating that people should just be pouring in hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, you can do what you can do where you feel led to do what you want to do. My point is this. Say what you want about Taylor Swift. I'm not a Swiftie as they're known. I don't even really listen to her music. I'm 65 years old. I don't listen to that type. I listen to country and some oldies and stuff like that. You guys get it. But what I'm saying is she did the right thing. She stepped up and felt compassion to this family. This was a female, a mother of two, and a wife, and undoubtedly a predominant figure in the Kansas City sectors. She was a DJ of some sort, did some Hispanic podcast or something of that nature. I'm not sure. But anyway, she was well known. and for this senseless act to happen. But then for Taylor Swift to step up and then have other people step up and match her $100,000 donation to this family is absolutely commendable. Say what you want about Taylor Swift as a person or the situation with her and Travis Kelce and maybe her music, whatever. To me, I have to say, hats off, Taylor Swift, for doing the right thing and stepping in and supporting this family in a very, very tragic situation that should have been a day of celebration for your favorite team. Not mine, not yours. I'm not saying you guys in the chat, I'm saying your favorite team as Kansas City Chief fans. That, to me, speaks volumes about her character. Say what you want about anything else. To me, that speaks volumes about her character. All right. Let me go back to the chat because it is blowing up, and I don't know if I hit a nerve or not. Let's see. Kamani Dixon says she is a cutie, Miss Taylor. Yeah, well, yeah, she is a cutie. Yeah, I mean, you can't deny that. Can't deny that. Okay. Elias DTTV says, go Avs, go Broncos. Well, the Avs, they haven't done well on this road trip, man. They're 1-4-1. And, they beat Washington. They've lost 4. And then they tied. No, not tied. They lost in overtime to who did they lose in overtime? Carolina? No, Carolina beat us. Not Carolina. Yeah, Carolina beat us bad. I forgot, but we lost in overtime in one of those games. Yeah. Elias also said, that's great. I'm assuming referring to the Taylor Swift donation. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Totally. Okay. Bob Gator says, invite me to your page. Good talk. Wow. What are you talking to me about? Invite you to my page, meaning what? I'm not quite sure what that means. Bob, go ahead and hit me up and let me know what you're talking about. Okay. Kamani says, it is a thought that counts. God bless her. And I agree, Bill. The Chiefs organization should give her something. I totally agree. Well, not her per se, the family, of course, the husband left behind and the 2 kids. It's very sad, very sad. Eric, my friend, in the house. Eric, nice to have you, man. You guys, Eric is one of the regulars at the golf course where I work, a huge Bronco fan. I'm going to have Eric on my show hopefully here before the season starts. I want to get his raw opinion of the Broncos going forward. In this new season, a second year, Sean Payton and all that. So you guys will be able to hopefully meet Eric, really good guy. You got to see his tattoo, dude. You got to see his tattoo on his forearm. Freaking thing's badass, dude. It is bad. Anyways, Eric said, just saw Russell Wilson is selling his house. Yeah, that comment came up earlier, Eric. And I'm shocked because I really, as you can see underneath my name, it says, underneath Bronco Bill, it says Broncos open to keeping Russell Wilson. Like I said to everybody else, I'm only getting my topics from this past week. Anything that comes in right before the show, during the show, I can't comment on because I don't have my notes in front of me. I haven't done my research, but I'm still going to bring the topic of Russell Wilson and whatnot as what the show's title is, says, will Russell Wilson stay with the Broncos? I will bring that in. So just stay tuned. I can only give you what I know. If you guys know anything else, please feel free, drop it in the chat, and I'll do my due diligence off the air to bring that for next Friday. Eric says, what's up, brother? I said, hey, man, Eric, just love to see you in the chat. Glad to have you in, man. Glad to have you in. Kamani says, Bill, I got to give Eric a nickname. Eric the Great. Well, there you go. See, Eric, you haven't even been in the chat. Yep, the first time on the show, in the chat, and already you got one of our supporters in Kamani Dixon is already giving you a nickname. So there you go, man. Roll with it, buddy. Roll with it. Eric says, for sure. I get it. I thought he was staying as well. I did too. I don't know. I haven't heard one iota, one word about whether he's going to stay or not. I do know that Sean Payton did say he wants this resolved earlier rather than later. Maybe they said something to, maybe it's hush hush to the media, to anybody else. And then word got out that he's selling his house because obviously that's general knowledge. Who knows? I don't know. It's crazy. All right. Here's a really good feel good story. And I want to bring this obviously on the heels of the tragedy of the Kansas City Chiefs parade. So not bypassing, but moving on from that, I want to do this feel good story. This is really cool. Jimmy Garoppolo is associated with the USAA and the Wounded Warriors Project. So last Thursday, prior to the Super Bowl, Garoppolo announced that veteran John Polson and his wife were joining him at Super Bowl 58. United States Air Force TSGT, not sure what that stands for, guys. It's okay. TSGT Josh Polson retired after 20 years of dedicated military service to our nation. Super Bowl 58 wanted to honor his service through USAA in accordance with Salute to Service. Awesome. Totally love it. Now, I know it's only one military person and his wife. I understand. But it's a gesture. It's a way of showing gratitude for the men and women who serve in this country. Would I love to see an entire stadium at a Super Bowl? Seriously, I would love to see this. An entire stadium of 70,000+ fans, military fans, military people who have served in our military, who are currently serving, who have loved ones that serve, that can represent them. If they were in World War II and represent them, I would love to see one Super Bowl dedicated to our military. Will it ever happen? I don't think so, because, they're not going to be able to pay for it. I mean, the seats were astronomical this year. $30,000 for a front row seat, 50-yard line, 3 rows back. Ridiculous. Nobody can afford that. That's a car price for one game, one seat. No, they're not going to be able to afford it. The NFL won't put them in there. It's just sad. I understand. I love this gesture. I really do. It's a feel-good story. To me, it is, because my dad was a World War II vet. And he was the master sergeant in the Army to liberate the concentration camps in Germany. So my hat always goes off to military, always will. And I love to see that they're honoring a person, but I would love to see it go even deeper than that, go even further than that. But man, hats off to Jimmy Garoppolo for doing that, for being, a stand-up person, and to, pay for he and his wife's ticket in their suite or whatever, wherever they were. I love the fact that our military is being recognized, because in this day and age, too many people turn their back on our military, and you can't have that. You can't have that. All right. Kamani, what are you talking about now? Got to sell a lot of pies for Super Bowl tickets. They cost that much they do cost that much. That was one I brought back last Friday. I brought back the cost of seats. If anybody wants to go back and see what those costs of seats were, I think the cheapest one was $10,000 something for nosebleed. I mean, way up there, top of the rafters. I mean, really, yeah, you're gonna need binoculars to see the field pretty much. Kamani, I totally agree, 100%. God bless our troops. Amen, my brother. Amen. Absolutely. All right. Here is a trade proposal. Okay. I don't like this one bit, but this is a trade proposal that some NFL in the know are saying the Broncos should do. All right. Some people in the NFL know are saying the Broncos should trade Patrick Surtain II to the Philadelphia Eagles for Josh Sweat. Now, I understand we need pass rushers. I get it, but not at the expense of Patrick Surtain II. No. You don't get rid of your best corner in the entire NFL. Don't do it. Well, we need a pass rusher. Oh, okay. So we need a pass rusher, but we're going to give up our best corner and have the other team score constantly on our replacement? No. Let me continue. So they proposed PS2 to the Eagles for Josh Sweat, a 2024 first-round pick, and a 2024 fifth-round pick. Are you freaking stupid? No, you don't do that. That's what the draft is for. We got Patrick Surtain in the draft, okay? He's the best corner in the entire NFL. In my opinion, you don't get rid of your best corner to bring in a pass rusher, okay? You just don't do it. Now, you're not going to have your pass rusher out there every single play of the game because there's going to be different packages, but you're always going to have Patrick Surtain back there on the best receiver the other team has. Guys, go back and look at his stats. You don't give up the best corner in the NFL. I don't care who it's for. People have asked me, would you trade Patrick Surtain for Patrick Mahomes? Okay, that might be a little different. That's a whole different scenario. And I'm not going to get into that because that's a whole nother show in itself. But I'm saying in this situation, no, I would not do it. Not do it whatsoever. Like D-Rock says, and I'm going to emphasize it, D-Rock, and I'm going to bring it just like D-Rock said, nope, hell no. Exactly, D-Rock, exactly, exclamation point, dot. Don't do it. I agree. Why people are saying that, I have no clue. Sounds to me like they might have come from a Philadelphia side. They want Pat Surtain. Everybody wants Patrick Surtain. All right. Now, speaking of somebody who may leave and looks like they're going to leave, it's not a player. It's a coach. According to the Vikings fan page, the Minnesota Vikings are expected to hire the Denver Broncos defensive line coach Marcus Dixon for the same role on their staff, per ESPN's Dan Graziano. Now, I don't want to lose Marcus Dixon. Our defensive line was good last year. They weren't excellent, but they were good, given the players we had and have. All right? Dixon has great reputation and was a former New York Jets player. Okay? Well, I wish him all the best if he goes to Minnesota. I just don't like losing coaches like this. But hey, if you're good at what you're doing, and the Broncos obviously are not interested in retaining his rights or his contract, or maybe his contract's up and he doesn't want to stay with Denver, wants a different opportunity, different team. Maybe he feels the Vikings are like right there on the edge of making the playoffs and going deep in the playoffs. I don't know. Coaches move all the time. I wish him all the best. Wish we could keep him. I don't know who our defensive line coach is going to be now, but like I said, I wish him all the best. I wish he would have stayed in Denver. Stayed with Sean Payton and kept that camaraderie going and building. But like I said, wish him all the best. That's all I can say. All right. D-Rock says, we have the best cornerback in the league to draft another cornerback that probably won't be half as talented. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Why? Listen, here's my point, guys. Here's my point, and I've said this many times. We know what we have in Patrick Surtain. We don't know what we'll have if we were to get rid of him and draft another cornerback. Would he be as good as Patrick Surtain? Well, let's say he's as good as Patrick Surtain. He doesn't have the experience in the NFL that PS2 does. What if he's not as good? Now you just cut your throat even deeper. Now you just set the Broncos defense back even further. Well, the Broncos defense isn't set back at that bad now. But you get rid of a PS2 and you're just screwing yourself big time. That's exactly what you're doing. You're screwing yourself big time because we know what we have in PS2. we have a Pro Bowler in back-to-back years. And I'm just saying, guys, you can't let go of what we know we have, especially the best corner in the entire NFL. All right. Kamani says right here, I agree, Bill, with you and D-Rock. Absolutely. You cannot get rid of your best. Now, people are calling for Justin Simmons to be traded. I don't want that either. He's the best safety we have. Why would you get rid of the best? I mean, to me, that would be like saying, well, we got the best quarterback. Let's make the Chiefs saying, hey, we got the best quarterback in the NFL right now. We got Patrick Mahomes. Oh, let's think about trading him. We need draft pick. No, you're not going to do that. And I know you don't normally trade quarterbacks, but you know what I'm saying? You don't get rid of the best. You just don't. That's stupid, especially when you don't know what you may get in the draft. You may get another Drew Lock. Not saying that we're drafting a quarterback, and I'm just talking about in general. You just may get a bust. It's a crapshoot in the draft. It's absolutely a crapshoot in the draft. All right, here's the Russell Wilson topic of the show. Will Russell Wilson stay with the Broncos? I've read a couple of times. I read it from Eric Qualls, and I've read it from, who else did I read it from? Kamani Dixon, I believe. I read it from D-Rock. Graham, I read it from all of you guys that Russell Wilson's house is up for sale. Like I said, I have not heard that. I don't know if I even got it on my text. I may have. Can't go through it right now. But here's what I do know prior to the show. According to the rap sheet, the Denver Broncos are open to the possibility of re-engaging in the talks with Russell Wilson about restructuring his contract to keep him in Denver for at least the 2024 season. Okay, let me expand on that. All right. What that says there is they're open to talks about restructuring his contract. Didn't they do that in the bye week? Didn't they approach Russell Wilson in the bye week and say, hey, we really want you to restructure your contract. We want you to kind of take out that guaranteed $37 million due to an injury. So if you're not able to pass the physical by March, I think it was March. Yeah, March of 2024, that we have to owe you $37 million. Can you push that back a year? Can we restructure this contract? And Russell Wilson said, nope. I ain't restructuring. Why would he restructure? He's guaranteed $37 million if he were hurt. And guess what? He's guaranteed $35 million for the 2024 season, period. Not even counting if he were to have gotten injured and whatnot to be guaranteed that 37. Okay, so the Broncos are already on the hook for 35. Why would he restructure when he's already getting that money? I don't know. If he wasn't going to restructure, if he was not going to restructure at the not the All-Star break, at the bye week, why would he restructure now? And then, given the news that you guys have just laid on me as a bombshell, or bombshell? Not bombshell. A bomb in the chat, and you laid that on me, which I hadn't heard, that Russell Wilson's house is up for sale. That tells me somebody has mentioned something to him about not being on the Broncos starting or by the end of February. If he's already put his house up for sale, that's not good news for him to stay in Denver. Do I want him to stay in Denver? Why not? If we're going to pay him $35, and I've mentioned this many times, guys, if we're already going to pay him $35 million, regardless if he's on the Broncos or not, why would I want him to go on to another team and possibly come back and hurt us as their starting quarterback? And I know, guys, a lot of you out there that I've heard, whether it's been in Twitter, X, or other means like texting or phone calls or whatever, saying, I'll throw up if we keep Russell Wilson on team, or I'm done with the Broncos if we keep Russell Wilson on team. Why? Was he that bad? Well, he wasn't fantastic. but he was a lot better than he was under Hackett. And a whole second season with Sean Payton, I think, would be even better. But that being said, okay, I mean, if we're going to pay him the money anyways, why not keep him on the freaking team so that we can draft a quarterback and somebody can learn under Elway? Yeah, under Wilson. I'm not saying how Wilson does things on the field, like running around and running into sacks and all that kind of stuff, or throwing the ball away or not seeing his receivers. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the preparation, what it takes to be an NFL quarterback, what it takes to get your body into shape and learning the playbook and going through the repetitions or whatever it is. Keep Russell Wilson there, because you think Stidham's going to be better? Stidham didn't look good in the last game of the season. I mean, granted, he beat the Chargers, but who doesn't? Chargers ended up in last place. I got something about that too down the road. In any case, I say keep Russell Wilson at least through 2024. You're going to pay him anyways. Might as well pay him to stay on the team so he doesn't hurt us should we have to play against his new team that he goes to, and then, have even more egg on our face, which we already have. All right. Okay. Let's see. Oh, come on. Or excuse me. D-Rock says, it pains me to say it, but we have to trim the cap fat. Simmons, Judy, Bowles, and Patrick. I agree with 3 of the 4. And I think, D-Rock, you know which one I don't agree with. And I said it earlier. I don't agree with getting rid of Justin Simmons. No way, shape, or form. Sorry, guys. I don't agree with it. Jerry Judy, yes. Garrett Bowles, absolutely. Tim Patrick, I'd love to keep him, but guy can't stay healthy. Justin Simmons has to stay. We've got to keep our cornerstones, guys. I mentioned it many, many times. Got to keep Justin Simmons. We got to keep Patrick Surtain. We have to keep Cortland Sutton. And we have to keep, who else did I say? Javonte Williams. We've got to keep those cornerstones, period. Anybody else? Okay, free game, possibly. I don't want to see a Josie Jewell gone either. People like that I don't want to see gone. But yes, I do agree we have to trim the fat, but not at the cost of Justin Simmons. I'm sorry, D-Rock. I just can't agree with you on that Justin Simmons one. Okay, guys, we have we got 3 more topics, and then we're done for this Friday, February 16th. All right. Okay, here we go. The Denver Broncos have not been in the playoffs, as we all know, for 7 years. We have not had winning seasons in those 7 years. And the Denver Broncos decided to cut ticket prices. Excuse me, that was wrong. They decided to increase ticket prices. Well, guess you got to get back some of that revenue somehow that the owners been pouring into the Broncos renovated stadium. Here it is. The Denver Broncos haven't been to the playoffs or had a winning season since winning the Super Bowl in 2016. Well, now it's even more expensive to see a Broncos game in person. After last season's 13% hike in season ticket prices, the Broncos have announced a 7.9% increase in next season's tickets for season ticket holders. That is a combined 20.9% increase over 2 years. So a $100 ticket, if there is such a thing, I'm just saying, a $100 ticket will now cost a person $120.90. That said, there are still over 100 people? No, over 100,000 people on the waiting list for Denver Broncos season tickets. That to me, guys, is devotion. That to me, guys, is passion. That to me, guys, are true fans. Those are true fans. To have 100,000, over 100,000 people on the waiting list to get Denver Broncos season tickets, even though they went up a combined last year and this year, combined 20.9 6.9% increase. So a $100 ticket will now cost you $100.90. Wow. I mean, people say it's only basically another $21. Big deal. Okay. All right. We'll add that up for, let's say, a family of 4 or whatever. It's just, and I understand that they want to get back some of the revenue that they put into renovating Mile High Stadium, the bigger scoreboard, the bigger concessions, the renovating the skyboxes, all of that. I understand that. But as a season ticket holder, you're not really sitting in the expensive skyboxes, or you're not really lavishing in that type of atmosphere. Still paying for it, but you're not really lavishing in it. But hey, I understand. Everything's gone up. No matter where you are, food prices have gone up, housing's gone up. Gas. Well, if you're not living in California, your gas prices probably aren't that bad. Ours are well over $5 a gallon again. Just went up from. I got gas a couple of weeks ago, and it was $4.49. Now I go drive by the gas station, it's $5.29. Oh, what the heck? Went up like 80 cents in 2 weeks? Crazy. Don't live in Southern California if you don't have to. Well, guess I shouldn't say I have to. Well, that's a whole nother thing. Anyways, okay. Kamani says Patrick Mahomes, Garrett Bowles, and Cushenberry as far as getting rid of. Okay, Cushenberry, he was a good center. He was a good center this past year. So I don't necessarily agree with Cushenberry, but I see where you're coming from. I just don't agree with getting rid of Cushenberry. He played quite well last season. Let's see. D-Rock said, Bill, I totally agree with you. We need Russell Wilson here. Granted, we're paying him, and he can be the deal. Yes, he can. He can be the ideal big brother mentor. I agree. I totally agree. He could be the ideal mentor to a younger guy. That's why I say keep him. We're paying him anyways. Why let him go? Is Stidham gonna mentor a rookie coming in? No, not in my opinion. Because he'll want to keep the starting job. Why is he going to want to relinquish that to a rookie? I mean, not that Russell Wilson would like to relinquish his starting role, but being a mentor, I see Russell Wilson being more of a mentor than a stick in the mud, so to speak. I rather lean on the side that he's going to be a mentor. That's where I'm coming from. All right. Let's see. Okay, so D-Rock says, on a side note, he wants to know, how is George Paton still employed by Denver? George Paton is still employed by Denver, from my understanding, from what I've read, my understanding is he and Sean Payton get along extremely well, as well as Greg Penner and George Paton get along really well, really well. Those three, that triangle right there, are rock solid. Sean Payton gets along great with George Paton and Greg Penner. And Greg Penner gets along really well with Sean Payton and George Paton. So it's a love fest that's still in the honeymoon process, I believe. And that's why that's why, in my opinion, that George Paton is still employed by the Broncos. He's not the best GM, not better than John Elway at this point in time, but it means a lot when your general manager can get along with the head coach. Now, is Sean Payton really running the organization and using George Paton as a puppet? Possibly. Very, very well possibility. Very well possibility. Don't know. But it kind of leans towards that. Angle. Is that wrong? Is that bad? Not necessarily. George Paton has to sign off of it. George Paton has to sign off on draft picks and getting along and all that kind of stuff, and salaries. And he has to get the okay from Greg Penner. So if all three are talking and all three are getting along, I say it's a win-win. Absolutely a win-win. I say keep George Paton as long as we have Sean Payton. And unless things take a turn for the worse. I don't see it going that way, because Sean Payton has very, very strong influence with Greg Penner. So I don't see that going south anytime soon as long as we have a Sean Payton. Sean Payton is an alpha A. Very, very much so. Very much so. And as long as he's in the house, as long as he's in the building, I don't see George Payton going anywhere. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion. Okay, so Kamani has a good question. Kamani says, if we do let Wilson go, where do you think he's going to end up? Well, a lot of people think he may end up in Atlanta. Other people say he may end up in New England. Some people say even the Raiders. And others even say the Minnesota Vikings. I say if the Broncos don't hang on to Russell Wilson, his most likely landing spot, in my opinion, and from what I've read, is going to be the Atlanta Falcons, because they desperately need a quarterback, and he fits in well with that type of system that the Falcons are running. I wouldn't be surprised, seriously. I would not be surprised or shocked if he went to the Raiders. The Raiders always want to try and stick one to the Broncos, if you know what I mean. So I wouldn't be surprised if he went to the Raiders. I don't see that happening. What I've heard is the Atlanta Falcons seem to have the inside track should Russell Wilson leave Denver. And remember, if he leaves Denver, we're still on the hook to pay him. So whatever team gets Russell Wilson is going to be pennies on the dollar that they have to spend. Pennies on the dollar, because the Broncos are swallowing the big pill. Swallowing the big pill. Absolutely. Kamani says he heard Pittsburgh. I heard Pittsburgh too, but in the latest odds per se, the odds were, if I can remember, I have it on my phone. I'm not going to look it up right now. Odds were Atlanta, New England, Minnesota, and Raiders is how I saw it. So it could change. I mean, things like this change overnight, man. You know, Doc Hopper is in the house. Doc Hopper, nice to see you, my friend. Yo, Bronco Bill, we out here. All right, man. All right. Well, glad to see you, Doc. Doc, glad to have each and every one of you in chat and participating. Really do appreciate it. Doc Hopper says, let Wilson go. Okay, well, I mean, you're going to eat the money either way. You're going to eat the money either way. I say as long as you're going to pay somebody, pay him to not be on another team to come back and hurt us should that happen. Yeah, Doc, I understand it's not my dollar. I understand it's not my money. I get that. But I'm a fan, dude. I'm a fan. And I don't want to see the Broncos, get burned more than they've already been burned in this whole Russell Wilson situation. That's the whole thing. I don't want us to have more egg on our face and more, jokes thrown around by, other fans of other teams and stuff. I've heard enough throughout these 7 years, and especially these last two, with Hackett and Wilson and George Payton. It's just, I don't want to hear anymore. I just don't want to hear anymore. I don't. I'm done. I want the Broncos to get back on track. I want the Broncos to get back on the winning ways. And if it means keeping Russell Wilson another year, let's just do it. We're going to pay him anyways, so let's just do it. Okay. This one is another feel-good story, and I hope it even feels better in years to come. Here we go. When Randy Gradishar is enshrined into the class of 2024 National Football League's Hall of Fame, his dear friend and former Orange Crush teammate, Tom Jackson, will introduce Randy. That is fantastic. Absolutely love it. Love not only Randy Gradishar, but I love Tom Jackson. Absolutely, love Tom Jackson big time. That guy should be in the Hall of Fame for sure. Tom Jackson will introduce, I already mentioned that, I'm sorry. Gradishar said, and I quote, "I'm hopeful that Jackson, along with other Orange Crush team members, will be recognized in Canton one day." He also concluded with, and I'm still quoting, "I'm very grateful for having that opportunity to be saying I'm finally in the Pro Football Hall of Fame," end quote. Randy Gradishar, you deserve every single moment, every single minute, every single, however long you want to do your speech, my friend, you totally deserve it. Randy, you should have been in the Hall of Fame years ago. You spent not one, not two, not even three. He spent 4 decades waiting to get in the Hall of Fame, and they finally did the right thing and finally are going to enshrine number 53, Randy Gradishar of the Denver Broncos Orange Crush. He's the first one to be inducted into the Hall of Fame from that Orange Crush defense. There's many players that should be on there. Randy Gradishar is the first one, but it needs to be more in Tom Jackson, in Louis Wright, in Dennis Smith. I mean, these guys need to be there. These guys were the reason why the Broncos, and I understand the Broncos didn't win Super Bowls with the Orange Crush defense. I get that. But that should not be a prerequisite to get to the freaking Hall of Fame. A prerequisite should be how you play, how you perform, and what your accolades are on the football field. Plain and freaking simple. Plain and simple. There's people in the Hall of Fame that's never won the Super Bowl. Dan Fouts is in there, the Chargers. Charlie Joyner, who I've had on my show a couple of times. And I look forward to having him on my show again. He's in the Hall of Fame. He didn't win a Super Bowl. Dan Marino's in the Hall of Fame. Didn't win a Super Bowl. There are many people in there that haven't won a Super Bowl. A prerequisite to getting in the Hall of Fame should not be that pinnacle. Yes, everybody wants to achieve it. Absolutely. I don't blame them one bit. But when you've had a Hall of Fame career, it should be recognized, not 4 decades down the road. That is way too long to wait. And thank goodness, Randy Gradishar is alive to be able to accept it. Unlike others, like Pat Bowen. I mean, yes, he was alive, but he didn't know he had Alzheimer's. That's sad. Pat Bowen should have been there years earlier. So he could have enjoyed it and could have accepted it. And we could have heard his own speech. But no, they sit on it. They wait. They twiddle their fingers. Oh, does he really deserve to be? Yes, they do deserve to be there. So recognize them. Give them their true accolade. Don't wait. What's the point in waiting? Well, other people deserve it more. How so? How freaking so? You mean to tell me that the 1977 Denver Broncos and the Orange Crush, who took down the then mighty Oakland Raiders and dethroned them, and the Broncos go to the Super Bowl? Yes, they lost to the Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl, but that's beside the point. The Broncos did something in those years that had never been done before. They took down the Raiders, who were the Raiders were then what the Chiefs are now. I hate to do that comparison, but I have to. And the Broncos took them down. And only Randy Gradishar 4 decades later is being recognized in the Hall of Fame? Well, you know what? Tom Jackson needs to follow him. And I hope Tom Jackson gets his due diligence. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. No doubt about it. And many, many other Denver Bronco players need to be there as well. And I'm advocating that the NFL Hall of Fame committee, opens their freaking eyes and sees greatness for what it is. And you can't judge today's way of football as it was back then. You've got to judge back then how it was. And if you judge the Denver Broncos Orange Crush defense and that team and those teams, you have to understand and you have to realize these guys belong in an NFL Hall of Fame. Period. End of discussion. Exclamation point. Done deal. Hey, Hall of Fame, get it right. More Denver Broncos from that era needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Don't wait till they're not around to accept it, and we can't hear their own words in their acceptance speech and the joy that brings not only to them, but to their family. Get it right. Gradishar, I hope you kick the door in for this Orange Crush defense to allow other players to be enshrined in the National Football League's Hall of Fame. All right. Okay. Now, this is the last topic, guys. I am going to do a little bit of comparison. This is eerie to me. Very eerie to me. I mean, there's a list this long. It must be 30 different comparison similarities. Okay. And actually, everything's equal, the same, I should say. So tell me what you think of this. This is very, very canny, very uncanny. It's very ironic to me. Here we go. Comparing the 2020 season to the 2024 first few months of 2024. Okay. Yes, it's a 2023 season, but these things happened in 2024 first couple of months. Okay. So bear with me. Hang on. Follow me. A few noted comparisons of the two seasons. Now, I understand that the 2024 season hadn't started, like I mentioned, but this is 2020 NFL season, 2023 NFL season carried into 2024 first couple of months. Here it is. Check this out. This is interesting. In 2020, the Chiefs and the 49ers played in the Super Bowl, 54. In 2024, it was the Chiefs and the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Both times, Chiefs won. Okay? All right. That happens. How about this one? 2020, the Chargers finished in last place in the AFC West. 2024, Chargers last place, AFC West. 2020, Chiefs were the home team in the Super Bowl. Yep. Chiefs were the home team in the Super Bowl in 2024, Super Bowl 58. 49ers in 2020, they won the NFC West. 2024 or 2023 season, they won the NFC West. 49ers beat the Packers in the playoffs in 2020. Beat the Packers in 2024 playoffs. Okay. The 49ers were the number one seed in 2020. 49ers were the number one seed in 2024. Washington Commanders lost 13 games in 2020. Guess what? Yep, you're right. They lost 13 games in 2024. And the last one, the last one I put in on my list, is there were two undefeated teams in college football playoffs. Yep. In 2024, there were two undefeated teams in college football's playoffs. What do you think of that, guys? I mean, there was a whole lot more I could have brought, some other teams and some other kind of really weird things. But I thought, on the heels of the Super Bowl, and isn't that ironic, though, that the Chiefs and the 49ers, 4 years apart, the Chiefs were the home team in both. 49ers were the number one team. It's just really weird, uncanny things that happen. You can't put your finger on. You just don't know why. Just the way it happens. My favorite kind of one was the Chargers being in last place in 2020 and 2024. I kind of like that a lot. Of course I do. So, hey, guys, that'll wrap up the show. I really do appreciate each and every one of you in the chat. I'm going to go down the chat, and then we're going to wrap this up. Go down the chat and acknowledge each and every one of you. It's one of the things I do. It's the least I can do. If you guys are going to take the time to be in the chat and put out your comments, and we have like a little dialogue on it. You comment, I comment back. It's only right and proper and respectful that I give you your recognition in the chat. Graham batted leadoff, followed by D-Rock in the house. Then we got Mohammed Badri as well. Kamani Dixon. Really do appreciate each and every one of you in the chat. Doc Hopper. Really do appreciate Bob Gaynor. Thank you so much for being in the chat. First timer. Continue down the list here. I'm getting there. LSDTTV. Thank you so much for being in the chat. Really do appreciate it. Eric Qualls. Really good friend at the golf course. Thank you, Eric, for chiming in. Really do appreciate it. Can't wait to have you on the show. It's going to be great, my friend. Continue on down. I think that's each and everybody. Very last one. Bringing up the rear is Card Crazed. Popped in late, currently eating supper. Hey, it's okay, man. Let me put your chat up there so you can see it and others can see it. Said popped in late, currently eating supper. Hey, no big deal, man. You got to do what you got to do. Guess what? You guys can go back and watch this show in its entirety as soon as I sign off. You just click on the link, go back to the beginning, and watch the entire show from start to finish. That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you have not, please do so. It helps out the chat tremendously. Or chat. I say that every time. I don't know why. Helps out the show tremendously. Really do appreciate it. Please hit the thumbs up, like button. That's the best way to let everybody else know that comes across this show, that they see it, they like it, because you guys out there are doing the thumbs up just like this. And people see that and say, oh, hey, man, I'm going to check that out. Must be a good show. Guys, that's the biggest, best way you can support the Bronco Breakdown show on the MHRT network. Really, really do appreciate each and every week, guys. You, each and every one of you in the chat, chiming in, giving me your thoughts, your scoops like you did today, and all of the interaction, guys. You make this show the best it possibly can absolutely be. Without you guys, this show would be nothing. You guys are the solid backbone to the show. Thanks again, guys, for showing up. Thanks again, guys, for your time. I really do appreciate it. Have a wonderful, hopefully long weekend, President's Weekend, President's Day on Monday. Each and every one of you, enjoy your weekend, whether it's 2 days or 3 days. We will see you next Friday, Broncos Breakdown 5, 6, 7, and 8 live. Till then, guys, take care. Bye-bye.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast racking up the flame out. So high, I might never come down, so what, this is my lifestyle. Wait a minute, work hard for the car, so that's why it's all tinted. Wait a minute, had a real late night, woke up